Yeah, that's a good barometer for, what this team will look like. But I think, honestly, the bigger question for this year is, what is Texas Tech going to look like?
Yes.
Because they're coming off of one of their best seasons
Ever?
Making the college football playoff for the first time, 6 months removed from that. And seemingly everything is full systems go. You bring in Brendan Sorsby as a transfer, and, it looks like you've got a bright future ahead. And then all of a sudden it gets just totally blindsided, train wreck due to the gambling ineligibility ruling. And so
that whole thing kind of gives me the Flo Balogun red card, like that similar situation. Like it's such a sideshow that it kind of takes over the narrative of your team.
But at least they have a couple months to survive and weather this, whereas
true.
Balogun had a day and a half,
48 hours.
Yeah. So
listen, that's the silver lining here is it happened. They had a resolution in late June.
Yeah.
And so you can, in theory, just kind of fully move on. It's a good thing they've got Big 12 media days. Come out, say everything that you want to say about it, and kind of let that be, I don't know if it's turning the page, but it is creating some level of distance between that and the season. It'd be one thing if it was right up against it.
Right.
The Cowboys like to do a training camp and all their contract,
negotiations and people are sitting on
week one and
training tables.
And then it bleeds into, the playing field. This at least gives them enough time to find, a sense of, I don't know if it's normalcy, but to at least, I don't know, get ready for the season, have enough time to do so. Joey McGuire spoke yesterday. He was later in the afternoon, so we didn't have any of that stuff on the show yesterday. We want to air some of it today because Joey Mack, as long as I've known him, has just been very open, honest, does not mince words. He's very much like a high school football coach who just happens to coach college now. Sometimes you see these college guys, they're a little bit more PC and buttoned up, but
yeah,
Joey just is who he is, and he's sort of unapologetically him. And so
there's an endearing quality to that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is, and I think his players, it's endearing to his players, right? Like you want to play for a guy that feels that level of love for you, and you're part of our program, you're part of our program for life type of stuff. So
yeah,
I'll tee it up here briefly, but if we're going to get ready for SOT 1, this is Joey's first question yesterday at the breakout session with media when he was just asked about Brendan Sorsby and what that situation is right now, and I found it notable that that Joey is still in contact with Brendan.
Well, one, I'm not going to ever change that. I'm not going to have my players' backs. I think it's really easy to turn your back on somebody. It's really easy to, tell a mom or a dad that you're going to be there to help them, their son grow into the man they're supposed to be. And then all of a sudden, whenever adversity hits or something like the situation we had, that you turn your back on them. And, so I talked to him 2 days ago. He's here training in Dallas. He'll be out in Lubbock some, and our facilities open to him and anything that he needs to do there. My biggest thing why I want to be there is because I have addicts in my family. Some of them are now no longer with us, but the biggest thing for me right now is he continue to get help so there's no relapse, and he can be the person and the player that he's meant to be.
That is really Joey to a T, right?
Yeah.
You're a football coach. You're trying to win games for one of the biggest programs in college football, but, he's also a dad, right? And he just feels a sense of responsibility for these young men, and that it's easy to just turn a blind eye. It's easy to just kind of cast these guys away. If you mess up, figure it out yourself. And if you do something like that, other potential football players to go to whether they're transfers or recruits, they're all watching, right? Like, do I want to go play for a guy that just says peace out to some guy that's going through something that he's struggling with?
Sure, but that is also part of the situation that Sorsby himself put himself in.
I'm not defending Sorsby in any of this.
Right,
But
and to be clear, this is how Tech should have handled the situation from the beginning, which is we're going to give him the platform if he needs to, or if he still wants to have his professional career post and people want to take a chance on him, we're going to give him the support and help that he needs. The problem was him taking the field as a collegiate athlete.
Right.
And that those two things are separate. He's got the support system that he needs right now.
Yeah, to your point about the Balogun red card, I mean, it is similar in that I think it probably came to the right result. It just came.
How we got there.
It's how we got there, how long it took to get there, and when it could have just been a pretty easy and seamless, decision probably from the jump.
Yeah, and to your point about just how.
Do you love that I'm still bringing you in for soccer discussion on a football show today?
It's great. But to your point about just the man that he is, you can tell that, that's why players want to play for him. And I've seen it in all the interviews that he's done on College Game Day and stuff. Like, he has that personality about him of, like, I want to go play for that guy because he cares about me as a person and not just as a football player. And so, this is another example in that portfolio for him. It's just like he gave Brendan, his support and, but you got to handle it yourself kind of thing.
And also, it's important to have that kind of role when college sports is becoming more professional. We used to have this two-tiered kind of, you get your high school education, you get your college education, football is part of that, and you're still growing as a human being. The more that these kids become professional, the less they might look at a coach as someone that's like, that's someone I have to listen to. When in a year or two, I'm going to be in the NFL doing my own thing anyway. When Joey inspires that kind of willingness for other people, other kids to learn and glom on, it's like, no, I want to stick around and make sure I get what I need out of this entire system. That's a huge boon for that entire university.
Yeah, I think they're really fortunate to have him going through something like this as opposed to maybe some other type of coach that.
I think he is kind of the perfect guy to be the head of the team to kind of turn the page on this, as you said before.
Right, and we do have one more soundbite from his breakout yesterday. And he was asked, would he have done anything differently regarding the Sorsby situation and how it all played out?
It's tough. Like, it depends. Like, if you would have told me that the supplemental draft wouldn't have happened, maybe from day one you say, hey, go get in the supplemental draft. I hate that he has to wait a year, but in the grand scheme of things, maybe that's a good thing. If he continues, which he will, continue to work on himself, without the pressure of playing football, maybe that helps. I think a lot of things as a whole, some of the statements we made, we were making them to Red Raiders. Like, anything that I said, I wasn't directing to anybody. I was not going to change the public opinion across the board. What we were trying to explain in any video or anything like that was to get our fan base and our boosters and our alumni to understand exactly what we were trying to do, because that's, we owed it to them, and really kind of that's the only people that we owed it to. And so some of that stuff, definitely in the world we live in, like this conversation right here, there's going to be clips taken out, and it's going to be 20 seconds, and it's going to be used any way that people want to use it. There was some used by a TV personality that 2 weeks before went on ESPN and made this big production of letting Brendan Sorsby play. And then whenever the injunction happened, all of a sudden he flipped the script and used 39 seconds of what I said in a Houston touchdown club to a bunch of Red Raiders. And so, at the end of the day, like, could we have done stuff different with that? Maybe we make one statement and just shut the hell up.
Joey to a T.
It's so Joey.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
We played all minute 35 seconds.
I was gonna say, like, if Joey's watching, we didn't snip that into 20 seconds.
We didn't 20 second you, sir.
Invited on the show at any time.
He might join the show. I
absolutely should.
I actually, if
what if I had cut it off at 20 seconds?
someone would cut this into a Tony Humid clip.
Boom. Got it.
I'm someone.
Yeah, it would. We might get Joey on the show. I wouldn't say we won't.
Invitation's open.
I mean, when he's calling our guy Paul Melton a stud.
Stud.
I can talk to him about Cedar Hill.
There you go.
There you go.
You guys would have a lot to talk about. The Longhorns.
Not.